Daniel chapter 2, in 603 BC, King Nebuchadnezzar had a prophetic dream of a statue that foretold the rise and fall of the world's future empires. In verses 37 and 38, the head of gold represents his Chaldean empire from 626 to 539 BC. The chest and arms of silver symbolize the Medo-Persian Empire from 558 to 330 BC. The belly and thighs of bronze depict the Greco-Macedonian Empire from 333 to 31 BC. The two legs of iron signify the Roman Empire beginning in 31 BC and include its many revivals even down to our modern age. The feet and toes of iron and clay indicate a future revival of the Roman Empire, involving 10 European nations uniting under one leader. And finally, the stone cut out without hands that crushes the world's governments represents the eternal kingdom of God that Jesus Christ will establish upon his return.
Love. That's what you're selling. Well, I don't buy it.
Little Caesar's delivery. That's the best thing since sliced bread.
We got a problem. There's a new best thing.
Okay, new ideas. Go.
Travel size bread.
Sparkle bread. Bread insurance.
Magnetic bread.
Dear Lord.
Run the numbers.
I ran the numbers.
Well, run them again!
You can do this. Come on, come on, come on. Talk to me.
Go out there and lead!
Thin slices, thick slices, diagonal slices. Yes, this might work. This might... What? No!
Everything is fine!
I've been following this turkey for a month. Sliced bread is toast.
I'm not gonna cry. Don't cry.
This is not happening. This is not happening!
I know there are concerns, but everything's fine.
Little Caesar's delivery. Best thing since
Sliced bread! I know.
America's best value, now delivered.
Pizza.
Is everything all right, sir?
I was praying and it just fell.
Dollar drop.
we're coming into a cyclical bottom for gold, and it rises going into December, January, so that might be the reverse of the dollar fall. Apart from that, I think one thing people who are dollar-based need to focus on is the Amero. That's the one thing that nobody's talking about, but I think it's going to have a big impact on everybody's life in Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. If you Google it, you'll find out all about it.
Well, you could tell us a little bit more right now.
You always hear it on CNBC, don't you? The Amero is the proposed new currency for the North American community, which is being developed right now between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico to make a borderless community, much like the EU, and the dollar, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar, and the Mexican peso replaced by the Amero.
The federal government is already among the largest holders of Bitcoin, as you know. Really one of the largest holders in the world, with as many as 200,000 Bitcoin obtained via civil law and various other forms of law, and including enforcement actions. These existing holdings will form the foundation of the new reserve. Unfortunately, in recent years, the U.S. government has foolishly sold tens of thousands of additional Bitcoin that were worth billions and billions of dollars had they not sold them, but they did sell them, mostly during the Biden administration. Not a good thing to have done. From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well: never sell your Bitcoin. That's a little phrase that they have. I don't know if that's right or not. Who the hell knows?
You really think that will get any leeway?
You may want to visit a couple of websites and see how far along it is. The Canadians are pretty upset about it, whereas the Americans, apart from the Texans, are the only people who know anything about it. The rest of the public's really sort of with their head in the sand on this one.
Cases of measles are popping up across the United States and may create new concerns, certainly for parents. A doctor with the Cleveland Clinic says that there are steps that you can take to keep your children healthy.
When we look at all the kids who are getting measles, both now and in all the previous years, the vast majority of them are not vaccinated or only have one vaccine. It is very rare for you to actually see a child who received both doses of the vaccine to actually get measles.
That is an important message this morning, folks. Dr. Frank Esper, an infectious disease specialist, strongly encourages you to get your child vaccinated.
The world of medicine has seen its share of miracle cures, from the polio vaccine to heart transplants, but all past achievements may pale in comparison to the work of Dr. Alice Crippen. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Not at all.
So, Dr. Crippen, give it to me in a nutshell.
Well, the premise is quite simple. Take something designed by nature and reprogram it to make it work for the body rather than against it.
You're talking about a virus?
Indeed, yes, in this case, the measles.
The measles vaccine was developed back in the 1960s. It is now given as part of the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, which provides protection against those three viruses.
Virus which has been engineered at a genetic level to be helpful rather than harmful. And I find the best way to describe it is if you can imagine your body as a highway and you picture the virus as a very fast car being driven by a very bad man, imagine the damage that car could cause. But then if you replace that man with a cop, the picture changes.
All three are highly contagious. Dr. Esper says the MMR vaccine isn't just important for self-protection, but also for others who are unable to receive the vaccine, like babies who are younger than 12 months old.
There are some people who can't receive the vaccine because they're immune compromised or they're allergic to a component of the vaccine. And for those people, they really depend on all of us to be vaccinated to protect them. It's called a ring of protection.
And that's essentially what we've done.
How many people have you treated so far?
Well, we've had 10,009 clinical trials in humans so far.
And how many are cancer-free?
10,009.
With a growing concern over the notion that chemical and biological weapons were unaccounted for and could potentially fall into the hands of terrorists, the Department of Defense wanted to test the nation's readiness for such an emergency. In June 2001, the DoD conducted a war game called Operation Dark Winter.
Dark Winter was a major exercise that was done prior to 9/11, earlier in 2001, to look at the effects of a biological terror event. And it was kind of a scary scenario. We would lose a lot of people if a really effective bioterror event occurred.
The simulation evaluated the government's ability to respond and communicate with the public, and the exercise even included mock news reports.
Since the diagnosis of 20 smallpox cases in Oklahoma City 12 days ago, hundreds have now died, thousands have become infected.
We had to, think about things like, quarantines and martial law, and things like that. All of a sudden, our system wasn't our system anymore because we had this terrible thing going on, and we had to change. We had to, change the way we thought about things. We had to change the way the military interrelated with the civilian world, and it was really an eye-opener.
And the conclusion were tens of millions of deaths, no commerce between states, no airplane flying for 6 months, and war between Oklahoma and Texas.
So you have actually cured cancer?
Yes. Yes, we have.
Figures. Well played. That was some risk.
I was very careful with Ernie collaborating with me every step of the way to be able to find the movie narrative inside this dense forest of Ernie's profound imagination.
The Oasis being the ultimate toy box with all the toys in the world, and then playing that with one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. It results in just amazing action and such a fun adventure.
Ernest Cline is such a visionary, and I think has seen the future before any of us possibly could even imagine it.